Why does everyone in the Big Ten become Iowa?
Everything evolves to eventually become a crab.
Ryan Day wanted the crab fight.
This team has two claws and he wants to snip at you with them.
He will play like the crab if he feels threatened.
So first game was Georgia at Auburn. Georgia won 20-10, and we had a on the field reporter for the Claw State podcast. John, you're way more angry than I am, so I'm just gonna let you go first.
Gee, I wonder why that would be.
I have some coke to throw out there, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Paul, let me tell you something. The refs fucked us. Auburn win that game by 14 points if we don't have the refs getting involved in that shit. No, that game sucked because it felt like the momentum was so strong for Auburn, like coming out and scoring on an opening drive, which is not something we do in this town. Having the opportunity to go up 17-0 on Georgia at half and having it seized away. I don't know why we ran a tush push. We've never run a tush push in the history of Auburn football, but and turns out when you run a rugby play and you have no experience doing it, you might drop the ball a millimeter past the plane, but close enough that
Did you think it was a fumble? Because I thought it was a
did not
fumble on TV.
I thought that it was not a fumble, but
Okay.
it was so close that I get that you have to go with whatever they called on the field, and they called a fumble on the field, whatever. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. Whatever was on the field, I just felt should have been upheld.
yeah. I mean, it was so close. If it was a touchdown, or if you're talking like within an inch of either touching the plane or not touching the plane. Like,
Right, right. Can we
you've
acknowledge
got to just
that?
hold on to the football. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't fourth down either.
no.
Like they could have just run a different play.
Yeah.
They ran like a fourth down play.
You're so right.
But for getting that, like not to take over, but I wanted to say, like, after the fumble, I thought the bigger bullshit was like the 10 penalties in a row
Dude.
that Georgia got, because
I've
we were on the 2 yard line and we had no timeouts and like a minute left, and via PI targeting, what am I missing? Probably like a roughing.
roughing the passer.
The roughing
Dude,
was bad. That was a
that
bad
roughing
call.
was total horseshit. That that was just that was a sack. Like, that was just a sack.
I
And
I don't like stuff like this happening. Like it's too many dark-sided things happening concurrently. Like things like that happening on a football field like feel actually no, I think I said this already in the group chat. It feels like the plates of reality slipped for a second and you saw the mechanisms behind it and you don't like what you see. I don't like this. Like you shouldn't fumbling at the one is traumatic enough. Having 99 yards of slop afterwards that ends with I think it was a field goal, but any points felt so gross.
Yeah,
Like it took my energy and I was at home.
it felt like a win that drive ended up in just a field goal, but like, I've never seen a team get marched down the field by penalties 99 yards like that. That was crazy. And the targeting, I can't understand what happened on that, because they announced a review to see whether the receiver caught the ball with a foot out of bounds or not. And then like 5 minutes later, after the TV timeout is over, they're like, Kay Lee's ejected for targeting. It's like, what? What? You guys were looking at that? Like,
yeah, the targeting call. First of all, just ban targeting. I hate this fucking penalty so much, and it benefited my team. And also,
twice.
it's worse too because then Georgia didn't get called for a targeting later. Like, so that's why I'm like, just stop calling targeting as a rule. It was that, and I did think the PIs were legit, but
Yeah,
the targeting and the roughing was like total bullshit.
yeah.
Sorry, continue. You were talking about the fumble, the 1 yard play. We got a
The
little derailed.
yeah,
The
the
game got
fumbles,
derailed.
whatever. It
No, so, yeah.
yeah, the game did get derailed. It sucked. It sucked to watch in person. The uh the 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 last thing I'll say about the tush push fumble is that the Georgia's first touchdown when they tied it at 10, like they didn't even look at it, and it was the exact same thing. It was like a running back getting bent over at the goal line, and the ball like maybe crosses, maybe doesn't. And it doesn't matter because that was on like a first or second down, so Georgia does score on that drive. But I was looking at that, and everyone in the section with me was like, "So what? We have a different definition of what's crossing the plane for these two teams. That's cool." But no, at the end of the day, as mad as I am about the fumble call, as mad as I am about Georgia being gifted 3 points and 99 yards via penalty. Auburn had 25 yards of offense in the second half. Like,
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about the first half performance, how good it was, because it was really good. I think what Auburn's first three drives are like what 75 yards, just like unstoppable machine down the field, and then the second half being completely shut out. What happened? Is it really just a momentum thing? Because like I kind of refuse to believe that because it can't be momentum. Momentum can't account for that big of a turnaround, right?
yeah, I mean this has been a pretty consistent thing under Hugh Freeze is that like the team does not react to adversity well, and whether it's, you know, throwing a pick six or getting a touchdown overturned or getting some bad penalties, it's like they just shut down and start shitting their pants. Like it's and man, the play calling is not good. It was good in the first half though. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of this team other than that we're kind of ass.
Yeah, okay. I'll give a little perspective because I watched that first half as a Georgia fan, and I was weirdly completely straight-faced and calm as we were just being destroyed every drive. Because I do know I was like, I guess in the second half, I know the defense will play like out of their mind because that seems to be what we do this entire season is we just go out there, fucking suck the entire first half, somehow not be down as much as we should be and then play much better in the second half. That's like the pattern across the board. Um, Auburn's defense, I thought, played was just living in the backfield the entire first half. I mean, I think Georgia had like 10 plays in the entire first half. Like at one point, it was horrific. So,
Like
I just want to note
I think there
that.
was like some point where it was like 100 plus yards for Auburn's offense and like 12 for no 12 for Georgia. I think it was bad. Maybe I'm mixing that up with something else, but it was 12 yards or 12 plays. It was
No, yeah, the first
lights out.
after Auburn's first two drives and Georgia's first drive, it was like 150 yards to 12.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I listened to the post-game interviews from both Kirby Smart and Hugh Freeze, and Kirby Smart, they asked Kirby Smart what he said at halftime, or what did he change at halftime, and he said nothing. I just told them to strike their blockers and pursue the ball better. And I'm like, so you just told them to play football better? Like that was your advice? I guess that worked. But
Yeah.
like he basically just said that they played the zone run better, which is what Hugh Freeze also said in his presser. He was like, they started playing the zone run better, and that seemed to make the difference. I just feel like Auburn abandoned the run game because the first half they were running the ball really well, inside outside. Second half they just start throwing it a lot, and I just don't think that's the strength of their team at all. And like that was the offensive lack of productivity to me.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. I mean, that's been another pattern with Hugh is just immediately, like the first time the run doesn't work, it's like, okay, we can't run anymore. Jackson, do your thing. And Jackson's thing is not excellent, but yeah, it's extremely this football team is extremely frustrating to watch.
Can we talk about the timeout thing with Kirby Smart? Okay, because I
Dude,
want to revoke my initial statement. Because
yeah.
all right, okay, because when I first watched it, I was like, I thought he called timeout. Then on the replay on TV, I thought, okay, he was saying that the Auburn team is clapping to provoke a false snap, which he was, but then he was, but that was, so then I thought, okay, they misinterpreted him call it. He didn't actually call timeout. Then I rewatched it with a different angle on Twitter. And so he does call timeout. And then after calling timeout, he goes up to the refs and tells them they're clapping. And then I think the refs thought that he said that he didn't call timeout. And then in
Yeah.
the post game presser, Kirby goes, "I didn't fucking call timeout." He just denies everything. So I'm just like, I don't know what happened. I have no clue what
Dude,
happened.
in the edit at this very point, we've got to show the like 3 second clip of him running down the sideline, clearly screaming timeout. Like,
It was so blatant. It was so blatant. I don't know what I don't know in women's basketball. A lot of the refs get called in like regionally. I'm not sure exactly how it works in the SEC, but I know for a lot of conferences, the refs just come in from like their like region that they work. It's like they're contractors or something. And sometimes it's like the middle of February, it's conference play, things are getting a little too physical, players are hurt, and people have tendencies that they've exposed. And now some guys or gals get a little too aggressive. And because there is such a variance in women's basketball player like heights, some of the fouls can look really bad. And refs just lose control of the game as it goes on, and they're constantly battling between like, do I insert myself in this or do I let them play out because that's the nature of the sport? And it felt like a women's basketball game here in the middle of February, which makes no sense because every time I look away and look back at this game, there's a ref watching the game on TV like I am. Like everything had to be reviewed, and they still had no control over the game from the coaches to the players to the ball. it's I don't know what else you do. Like SEC refs are like some of the most well paid. Like we were tuned in to the SEC media days about how they were going to start doing things differently. We talked about like that rule change with the line like shifting at the last second before the snap. Like I feel like we're more tapped in to SEC referees than the average person is. And still, I watch this game and go, how does this happen? As hard as their job is, you you can't let this keep being a thing, especially for Auburn. They're paying more attention now. Like if you
God.
weren't tapped in before, it's the only thing you have left to watch this season. Please figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. The refs being a storyline sucks at all points for every team, but it being a storyline for two painful losses for Auburn sucks. Granted, I am not saying that the refs cost Auburn those games. Auburn played poorly against Oklahoma and Georgia and lost because of it. But like the timeout thing is just absurd, man. Like I didn't know that you could call a timeout and then run up to a ref and lie and say you didn't call a timeout and they'll stop the play and stop the clock on what would have been a delay of game and not charge a time. Like it doesn't even matter if Kirby had just been clapping then and the refs thought he called a timeout and they stopped the game. They have to just charge him a timeout because they stopped the game. It doesn't matter if they had missed it. And they didn't even miss it. They correctly called a timeout. Kirby was screaming time.
It's just so funny. I love that he's my head coach. I love that he just ran up, called a timeout, and then said, "No, I didn't." And then at the end of the game had
It
a
wasn't
timeout
me.
left. That's the funniest part is at the end of the game we had a timeout left. So he didn't even end up using the timeout he saved. That's even the better part. Yes, you're right. Objectively, like the way you remediate or you fix this situation is you either give us a delay or force a charge of timeout. That's all it is. You can't just redo the play. But
Yeah.
evidently the next play we get down to the one and then they call a blindside block, I want to say, on Cash Jones, immediately pull back, and then we miss the field goal. So ultimately, Auburn was not
Yeah.
it didn't cost Auburn, and I guess Georgia never used the timeout, but it was emblematic of like complete incompetence. I mean, and it did cost time, to be
Yeah.
perfectly fair. So but it didn't matter in that
Yeah.
sense.
There was one other penalty that I want to highlight, and there was a on an Auburn punt return that was a fair catch. Auburn got called for a chop block, and I don't know. I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. And they didn't show replay on the Jumbotron because it probably was a chop block, and the Auburn people up there probably didn't want to show it to us. But it's a fair catch, man. There wasn't a return. Why are you decking someone if you're on Auburn special teams? Like,
Because you're frustrated. You're
yeah,
pissed
true.
off at the entire game, and now you're going beyond the whistle in stuff that's extracurricular. They lost control of the game. They lost control of the game, and it adds up. And now you're in the heart of your season, and people are beat up and tired and pissed off. And what can you do? Shrug your shoulders.
Yeah. It,
I I,
yeah.
I just want to ask because like as a Georgia fan, I'm just like I do feel like we probably would have won because we played so well in the second half, but forgetting that, does Auburn want to fire Hugh Freeze? Because like
Yes.
he probably should have like won. Like if a lot of like objectively bullshit things didn't happen, he probably wins the game.
Yeah, and this is a good opportunity to kind of exit this game in particular and go into a broader Hugh Freeze discussion for Auburn. The it's it's much more frustrating as a fan to be so close and losing than to just be total ass and losing. Because when you're really bad, you're just like, okay, whatever. Like we're gonna go out there and get some cardio for 16 minutes or 60 minutes, and we're gonna we're gonna move on with our lives. But like this is three winnable games in a row that have been lost by Hugh, and the way the rest of the schedule breaks out, like you're looking at you have to beat Arkansas, Kentucky, and Mercer to go to a bowl game. And you can definitely do it to Kentucky and Mercer. Arkansas, you know, we'll see how the Bobby Petrino experience bears out in a few weeks. But like the other games are Missouri, Vandy, and Bama. And Bama's a home game, Missouri's a home game. You know, some voodoo magic could happen in Jordan Hare. It didn't happen last night. But like this is the expectations set at the beginning of the year were that like this team should be at 8 or 9 wins with the talent on the roster. And when we're losing games that are all winnable, it's I don't know. I don't see an improvement even though the base talent on the team has gotten like back to an SEC level since Harsin was here. And we're gonna have the same record that we did last year with a
But
much better team.
are you a quarterback away? I guess is more my question.
I don't think so. I A quarterback's not calling zero handoffs in the second half.
Yeah, fair enough. Josh, any final notes on this? Because I think I'm going to talk about the Auburn coaching job in like a later segment, so I want to save it for
Okay.
a minute there because I actually think that there's some great names that are going to be on the market that you could get. Just saying. Josh,
No,
anything?
I'm fine. I'm fine. We can go to the next game. This is a big, like, forgive us, listeners, for this clunker of a fucking game taking up such premium real estate on our show. But this is one of the Super Bowls on this podcast, and it felt like I don't have an analogy. It just felt bad the entire way.
It
I
sucked
thought
to
it.
Next
watch. We
game,
can all agree that it sucked to watch.
yeah.
I liked watching the
Shut
second
up,
half.
dude. Never mind.
Anyway, point being, the next game was probably the biggest game of the entire weekend, which was Indiana at Oregon. Indiana won 30-20, and I'm gonna take my victory lap here because I picked Indiana to win this game. I called Oregon a cupcake merchant. I just didn't know the cupcake was Penn State.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna go back to that commenter that left one on our TikTok and be like, "What now?"
Yeah, what now, bitch? You are a cupcake merchant. No, I want to say Indiana just played. I They didn't play their best game. Like probably, they would probably look back and say we could have played even better, but they proved something in the way that they played this game. Okay, first play of the game, Oregon has given up one sack all season. First snap of the game from the Oregon offense, Indiana just immediately sacks them, just sets the tone instantly that they're going to be getting pressure, and they got pressure all day. And then they just tackled really well. They did exactly what Indiana does. They didn't miss tackles. They kept everything in front of them. They just forced Oregon to churn out long drives, and Oregon couldn't do that. And then on offense, Indiana was able to move the ball. If they don't throw a pick six in this game, this is 30-16. Or, or not 16, 30-13. I mean, or Oregon got their ass kicked from start to finish. I just think Signetti's team is less talented, probably older on average, and played way better. So, I mean, I think Indiana has an argument to be number two after a win like this. But yeah, John, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought that the pick six in the fourth quarter was gonna be the momentum changer, but to do that, respond, immediately march down the field 75 yards, score a touchdown, and then get a pick off of Oregon's next drive immediately. It's like they just it felt like the Indiana players knew that they were supposed to win that game at that point, and they weren't gonna let a pick six affect them. I mean, it's very impressive by Indiana. I also thought it was funny that in the week leading up to this game, Sig was very much not on his normal bullshit of like hyping everything up, like shit talking the other team. It felt like he didn't want to give Oregon any like locker room material, which is kind of outside of his normal playbook. But then they just go out and they just win. Like Google him, dude. I wonder if he said any crazy shit in his post game, but
He said he had a feeling that they could do this. That was about the most crazy thing he said. But he did say it like he meant it. Like it wasn't. You know what? Dion did the same thing after the Iowa State game, but where he said, "I thought we'd win," and I'm like, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I'm not gonna let you lie about that." I believe Kurt Signetti. I think he thought they would win. I think he thought that this Oregon team was probably a little overvalued across the board. But anyway, sorry, Josh. What did you think of this?
I mean, this is what they set out to do. I mean, not just win a big game when it's time to, but from their early season scheduling, it's sacrificing like your buzz about yourself so that you do get disrespected and people do say, okay, they look good, but can I prove it? And when you do have these opportunities, this is when you start to make your noise. Like I could have told you in September, Indiana is a national championship threat, but I wouldn't have believed it. Like just because I knew that they were like executing well doesn't mean that okay, they're going to do that against Big Ten competition. Oh, they're going to do that when they play a team as talented as Ohio State or something. But at this point, I look at not just that, okay, they're good, but they're good in the trenches. They're good under center. They're good on special teams. They're good on the road. Like, I'm running out of areas to test them at, and they've come out with A pluses in their biggest tests of the season. So I there's only so many teams that like play at the level that they're playing at. And of course, it's a question and a roll of the dice every week, but you can only question a team that does it for so long.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm excited for Indiana to start getting some respect down here in the heart of SEC country with like my coworkers, random people at bars, etc. Like the talk for 8 months has been, well, Indiana got their shit pushed in the playoff. They never deserved to be there, and they're not actually, they're they're Big Ten bad team merchants. And now like the haters are silenced. Oregon, as you say, Cupcake Merchant, whatever, they're still a very good Big Ten team. Indiana went into Autzen and won this shit pretty convincingly. Like, I agree, Indiana's got to be up in the top three, and I think that they will start getting the. You're not gonna with Indiana, you're not gonna look at them right now and be like, yeah, well, the logo says they're Indiana, so they have to be bad. I think that we can move past that a little bit with this game.
I want to ask legitimately, is this the best coaching job I ever? Like, I don't think people realize like Indiana was like literally the worst Power Five team program. Probably, it was like them,
Kansas.
Vanderbilt, Kansas. I mean, Iowa State at one point was down like literally in that tier. They're now beating Oregon on the road by 10. Like, I want to legitimately ask, like, is this literally the best coaching turnaround of all time? Like, this is unprecedented. Like, fucking Indiana, a basketball school, is beating like the number three team in the country on the road in prime time,
This was
coming
their
in ranked.
first, it was their first top 10 win ever, he said. Signetti said, like,
Jeez.
oh, it's a hell of a stat or something like that. Like, it, I don't know about the historical context to call this the greatest coaching job ever, but I do know that if I was playing college football 26, things would be going a lot like this if I played on varsity. So, so what else can you say for them?
On the flip side, if you're Oregon, what do you say to yourself? Is Oregon have we recontextualized Oregon at all? Because now I think their best wins are a lot less impressive, and their trenches don't seem as dominant. So do we knock Oregon a ton for this loss?
I don't because I think Indiana is that good. I think this is the same, like they wrecked Illinois, just like Ohio State wrecked Illinois. They lost to no, they beat Penn State and it was close, but it was, a tough game. It was a tough situation. Like I would, if Indiana had lost to them in this exact way, I'd be like, yeah, it's just tough to play a good team in that spot. I think, surprisingly, Oregon just had one of the best teams in the nation on the schedule. Sorry, like
It,
the playoffs wide enough. Maybe you can win one of them there.
something that's a little bit weird for Oregon is this was coming off of a bye at home. Like if I think it's a fair point to recontextualize Oregon a little bit. If you are one of the best five teams in the country and you have a bye going into a huge home game, like you should win that game. I mean, I don't knock Oregon too much for this result, like you said. I agree, Indiana, fucking awesome. But I don't know, man. Oregon now needs help to get to Indianapolis at the end of the year, and we didn't think that would be the case.
No, yeah, they lose control of their destiny. And on that note, I want to talk about just for a second, and we can move on after this. But I just want to talk about the fact that Indiana's remaining schedule is incredibly favorable. Like, look at this. They play Michigan State at home, UCLA at home, who maybe UCLA is amazing. Who fucking knows
I think
anymore?
UCLA is on a heater, dude.
They play at Maryland, at Penn State, with home versus Wisconsin, and then at Purdue. Like that,
Oh,
they could easily be undefeated going into Indianapolis. I would say at Penn State, regardless of Penn State's spiraling, is going to be a probably a really hard game no matter what. But the rest of that, those are cupcakes. Like you can do this. They could honestly be number one or number two in the playoff.
That's so awesome that it's Indiana, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if my team isn't going to win it, I want them to win it. That's my position.
I feel
Um,
like until they beat Ohio State, they can't do it. But Ohio State could still drop the game. They don't. Their remaining schedule still involves
Well,
Michigan, and I just
yeah,
can't
they have
give them that.
Michigan.
So
yeah. No, I mean, I imagine they'll see Ohio State in Indianapolis. But shit, man, I don't. Even if they lose that game, even if they lose the Big Ten tech championship, they're a shoe in for the playoff. Technically, this was the
oh yeah.
big game they had to have, and they did it. So anyway, great job, Indiana. We're all, I guess, rooting for you. I mean, if they win, it would be like the greatest Cinderella story of all time for a college football team. I don't think people realize how crazy it is that fucking Indiana is this good at football. Um, Next game was Alabama at Missouri. Alabama won 27 to 24. I have quite a bit to say. I thought this was a really good game. I think Missouri showed a lot. We did all acknowledge that we thought Missouri was good and very talented. And they blew it. I just think they blew this game, honestly. And then Ty Simpson was the better, way better quarterback. I still think he's the best quarterback in the SEC, and he showed it.
What about Jackson Arnold?
We need to get a neutral take here. Josh, you're not an SEC person. We both, me and John hate Alabama, so this isn't fair. And I hate Missouri for being a Big 12 team. But Josh, continue.
Well, Matty Mock allegiances aside, um, I do think Missouri showed me something that I expected to see from them, and that's good. I think Alabama is just a good team and should be in Atlanta this year. Um, I think we talked about this too. They Missouri knew that this was like their chance. They've never beaten Alabama since they joined the conference. And now it's like, all right, this is where the tide turns and we assert ourselves in this new look SEC. And I feel like that just got to them. Like the special teams, like the fake punt, like try like I think they try to fake it wasn't a fake field goal, but there was something else that happened
No, it
too.
was a fake punt where they ran a fake punt to the short side of the field on a wide outside running play.
Hmm.
Which was just so bad, dude. Why did they do that? Like, either go for it straight up, or at least if you're gonna run a fake punt, don't run to the short side of the field. Like, I have no idea what they were thinking.
I think they were thinking that, okay, to pull this one off, we need to like create an edge for ourselves in an unconventional area, like not just be solid on special teams. We need to have one like extending of a drive. We need to get an extra possession. We need to save a timeout for right before the 2 minute warning so that we can sneak a field goal in before half. Like, I feel like they were looking for that extra edge, but they were not drowning. Like they didn't have to like keep their heads above water here and then reach for some special moment that we'll remember forever. Like they just needed to play a little more straight up, and I think they probably would have been better off. But I think going into this game, you can't just say that. So, I mean, I knew it was a big game. All the fans knew it was a big game. And I think the coaching staff knew it was a big game, and that was the problem.
I take strong issue with Eli Drinkwitz's decision to kick an onside kick at the end of this game.
That's what it was.
Really? I
I
I didn't mind it because what's the downside, you know?
I mean, the downside to me is the field position game. Like you have I don't know what the actual percentage is, but you have like maybe 5 to 10% chance of getting the onside kick, which is, if you get that onside kick, you look like a genius. I will say that. But like the most likely outcome is that you are giving Alabama the ball on like the 50-yard line. And if you and at that point you have three timeouts, whether you get a failed onside kick or you kick it deep, you're playing for a three and out and use your three timeouts and get the ball back. And they got the ball back. They successfully stopped Alabama. They got a punt and they started that drive from their 18. If you kick it deep, you might get that ball on the 30, the 35, and you only got to go 30, 40 yards to get a field goal instead of 50, 60 yards to get a field goal. I mean, I
Yeah,
just think that
yeah.
that's why I think it's a bad decision is, and I think they had about a minute and no timeouts when they got the ball back, and they put together a decent enough drive to they were moving the ball decently. And then I think that if you have better field position to start that drive, you probably don't try to push the ball down the field too far and throw a pick and lose the game.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, I think you're right. That does make sense. If especially because they're only down a field goal, they only need a field goal. So
Exactly, exactly.
realistically, you need like 30 yards and the sideline. So it's definitely, yeah, no, that's fair. Also, like, not I don't want to shit on Missouri too much because like
I don't
they
either.
did kind of they did show like they belonged on the same field, But
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was like first or second drive of the game. They first of all, first drive of the game, they just come out and score a touchdown immediately. They look great.
It
Then
was so fast.
it was awesome. And then their defense comes out, basically forces a three and out. And I want to say that it's got to be I think it was the first defensive possession. The defense forces a three and out, immediately gets a fucking taunting penalty, gives Alabama a fresh set of downs, and then Bama goes and scores and ties the game. It's like, get out of your own
Dude,
way, bro. Like,
my I was watching that with friend of the program, Eric Pia, and he immediately when that taunting happened, he turns and looks at me and he goes, "If Alabama scores on this drive, that's going to be the difference maker in this game." And it was. I mean, they lost by 3 and they gifted Bama 7. I mean,
yeah, they just couldn't get out. Like Josh said, they had too much juice in this game. Um, and then I thought they just got away from their play calling. Like the first half, they're playing so well offensively because they're running the ball pretty well against Alabama, and they just start throwing a lot with Prabula. I never know how to say his last name.
Rabula.
Pribula.
Prabula. Okay. Anyway, they start throwing the ball a lot with him, and I don't know if they realize that he played at Penn State and therefore sucks at the quarterback position.
Bro,
Like,
hey, he was playing well all season, all right? It
Hey,
was his legs that helped him, but but
the
he
the
was good.
the Penn State of it all is that he can be decent to above average, and then immediately when there's a clutch situation, you know what's going to happen.
yeah,
And
it's like they trained them on 2 minute to throw a pick directly to the other team. It's like it's never a close pick or a tip pick. It's throw the ball directly to the other team's safety and end the game.
you can take the player out of Penn State, but you can't take the Penn State out of the player.
It's just they were running the ball. They were winning in the trenches. They just stopped doing it. And not to belabor Missouri, I want to acknowledge Alabama. You're really good. You responded to every challenge on the road. You've got a great quarterback. You've got receivers. Penn State does their, or not Penn State, Missouri does their onside kick. You recover, or not. It wasn't the onside kick. It was the special teams. Missouri does the special teams fake, fails. You get sacked. It's like third and 30. You manage to get it to fourth and 8. And then on fourth and 8, Ty Simpson throws a dime to the sideline and you convert and then score a touchdown and seal the game. Like you did win this game. So I just,
Yes,
not to
yes.
you were a winner. They didn't handed to you
both
already.
both both teams played well, and Alabama ended up winning. Like we can be
Sure.
adults. Jam
I do.
Miller is
Oh,
really good. Jam Miller
Mm.
is
And he's
it,
out. He's out now.
he's out again. He played
He
this
got
whole
hurt.
game. He got
No, no, no.
hurt.
He,
Damn.
he got hurt. He got hurt. But he's really fucking good.
for how long?
I'm not sure. I know he got knocked out of the game and Bama was playing their backup running back. I actually didn't. Let's see real quick. I know concussion.
Oh,
Damn.
Concussion on I think it was yeah, his availability for Tennessee is unclear because it was a targeting call against Missouri that ended up being a
ah,
concussion. So sorry, continue. But Jam Miller, yeah.
Really good. I think that if you look at Alabama season and Florida State season, the most obvious thing to look at is Alabama not having Jam Miller in that week one game is for me, that's like, okay, that's why this good team lost to this bad team.
Yeah, yeah. I think they had a lot do a lot of soul searching. I'm not sure. Either way, Jam Miller is a essential part of their team. And if
Yeah.
he's not going to play in Tennessee, that will definitely matter. Anyway, anything else on this game? Perfect.
We had another big boy play. Caden Proctor got a fucking handoff again.
I hate him so much.
no,
I
he's
am
my favorite
fucking.
Hawkeye, dude. Leave him alone.
I was like, why couldn't you have gone to Iowa, dude? I never would have had to see you. Like, you should have gone to Iowa. You're from Des Moines. Why are you here? You're not supposed to be here.
He
And I
went
hate
to
that they give him the
Iowa.
ball.
God. And then that ridiculous. All right, we can
I don't even want to know what happened. He committed, decommitted to
No,
Iowa
he
like 50
he
times.
transferred there for spring and then transferred back after spring. So
Yeah, I
he
know.
was on Iowa, never took a snap, dude. Fucking God.
Anyway, next game was South Florida at North Texas. South Florida won 63-36. How many turnovers were in this game? Like 10? Like it was
Yeah.
so many, and I feel really bad for North Texas because they finally got on ESPN. They finally got their stands filled out. They had a lot of breaks in this game to start and just didn't seem to matter. Didn't seem to
They
matter.
canceled classes in the afternoon on Friday just so they could send all the students to the game. I think that's a real commitment to what this program could be and someday will be, Lord willing. Um, college football is cruel, dude. USF is another team having their magical run, and this game was totally in doubt in the first half. But the difference was South Florida getting 21 points off of turnovers and North Texas getting 7. And there were a lot of turnovers. I think it was like 4 with 7 points to show for it. It's
I know.
that's just not going to do it, dude.
The this game being tied at half and then South Florida exploding in the third quarter for 28 points is crazy. And then even in the middle of the third quarter, like North Texas hit a couple explosive plays and got a really long touchdown. And I was like, okay, it's 42-28. This game could this game is still in reach. And then I mean, God, South Florida's offense in this game was nuts when they weren't turning the ball over.
Yeah, honestly, like if imagine if they just don't turn the ball over, they're just fumbling handoffs, they're throwing stupid pick. Like I don't even know how to feel about this game because both teams, like seriously, both defenses. I don't care how many turnovers you produce. You both played like shit. You guys both defenses suck. Both quarterbacks, I fucking suck. I don't care what the announcers were on. Like South Florida. Yeah, I mean, I don't. You know what I mean? Like South Florida's quarterback can run the ball really well.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, he's really good, but also he just throws terrible interceptions, and North Texas also throws terrible. And they were really smoking that pack on that North Texas QB. They were for a while in that first half. They were talking about how he was really good, and he was
He
not
had
very
It
been
good.
was
the
it
entire
was
Best Maker was good all year. They had a weird schedule. They played a better game against Wazoo than Ole Miss did this week, and and he's a redshirt freshman. So getting like a really physical defense to harass him and like a crazy pass rush that just feasted on young quarterbacks all season. Like I get why this was like his terrible game. Like this was his first pick of the season, and it was followed by his third and fourth. So I mean, again, I'm gonna say what we said about Lagway, like, oh, you're a bum, oh, you suck, you threw a bunch of picks, whatever. But he was a converted wide receiver, and he looked like it that night.
Yeah,
Fun
I
football game though.
shout out to the American. We
Damn
we
fun.
we really gave them a lot of shit to start preseason because of their mascot thing, but you know, you guys you're on ESPN. I live 20 minutes from UNT's campus. So like I knew that this was a big game for North Texas. Like people were wearing t-shirts in the grocery store. Like I'd never seen a UNT shirt.
You should have been there.
You should have gone to Denton, dude. Come on.
What are you
No,
talking
it's a
about?
Friday night. I'm gonna hang out with my cat and watch it on the couch.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm not a
No,
UNT fan, and I
no,
would
but
have
it was
gone
a
home
spectacle.
sad.
I can tell you, I would have gone. I go to high school football games 20 miles away. I would have done it. But I think what's so heartbreaking about this game is that USF has been so physical with teams that were, more prestigious than them. And North Texas met them on that in the first half and forced them to make a lot of mistakes. Like I was ready for this to be like a home environment that like wills a team back into a game in the second half. And when they got that fumble off of a screen and ran that back, and the linebacker was just like running parallel to the goal line, I'm like, oh man, there are no storybook moments left in college sports, man. Like it is your time when it's your time, and when it's not your time, it is not your time, dude. That was so wicked. Like I was rooting for South Florida. I bet on South Florida, and I still was like, ah man, I feel bad now. Like I saw a poster somebody had at the game, it was a South Florida fan saying, y'all should have went to class. And I don't.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's funny.
Yeah, that's good.
From our very first episode, I said I was worried about identifying with the lovable loser, and I still feel that exact way. I'm like, poor North Texas. I was rooting against you, and I still feel more for you.
Okay, anyway, we can move on. I mean, it was a blowout, but you
Yeah.
know, the score does not
Playoff
accurately
stakes.
yes,
Playoff
for the
stakes.
American. There we go. Moving
USF,
on.
sorry, USF's upcoming schedule, they have FAU, should handle business, another Florida team. At Memphis is another one that we will be tuned in for. UTSA, Navy, I'm watching, and
That's not an easy
UAB and
game.
Rice. So there's some stiff tests on the schedule, but they should be at worst 10-2. But they'll have a chance to compete. They haven't lost in conference, and if depending on who they lose to, it could be serious. I think Navy avoided a loss this week, so that was, again, just staying above water.
Yeah, I mean
FU Navy.
Memphis and Navy are gonna be hard games. Um, anyway, yeah, I mean they are still the G5 playoff contender, especially because they beat Florida, so they have the visibility. Moving on to shout outs. Josh, did you want to talk about Colorado State's blowout over Fresno?
Colorado State getting off the mat. I think they were like 1-4, 2-4. Well, they're 2-4 now. I don't know what happened with Fresno necessarily, but good for Jay Norvell, dude. His pencil thin mustache can be curled upwards today. He he's a fucking loser and a dork who was like out of when everyone was hating on Colorado in their first like 2023 season, it was like, oh man, here's Colorado State who's like, oh, I was raised to shake hands. It's like, who the fuck? Get the fuck out of here, dude. So I mean, he's been, I guess if there is a national perception, a herb ever since then. But he got a win today, and they were looking for a contract extension for him. Well, he was looking for a contract extension, and maybe this point if you can keep this up. But a nice Friday night mayhem win for a team that doesn't have a lot of them.
John, anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this saves them, man. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, it's gonna. This has to be the beginning of a run. It can't be the
Yeah.
only one.
All right. Next shout out was Cincinnati going to beat or to play Baylor. They can get to 7-1. Shit, man, Cincinnati could honestly be undefeated. I've said this before. They could be undefeated if they just didn't blow that Nebraska game. Honestly,
They
undefeated Cincinnati.
blew that game. And I'm a big Scott Satterfield hater. I thought that it was very stupid of Cincinnati to like basically save Louisville the check of firing Satterfield by hiring him away because Louisville was going to fire him that year. And I am being proven wrong this year because since he's been kind of not great the last couple of years under Satterfield, but fuck, you're right. They could easily be 8-0 if they just beat a fucking beatable Nebraska team. God. Who did they play this week?
UCF, and
Nice.
kind of struggled with them for a little bit. The score was closer than the game was, but it's nice when you have a program that's turning things around. Just keep winning your games at home, and you'll be able to get some confidence going in your program. Uh, but yeah, this game against Baylor, I believe it's on the road, is going to be probably their hardest test. But going into their next bye week, I believe they have, being 7-1, ginormous, dude. It'd be the highest they've been ranked since the playoff year.
No, absolutely. I mean, they're Cincinnati and therefore should be unranked because they're not in the SEC, but they should be unranked. No, they'll be ranked. Especially with all the losses that happened this week. Next shout out was just Utah taking care of business against Arizona State. They have is the AP rankings came out. Arizona State has to be unranked now, right?
Uh, the AP rankings will not be out until like
An
2 hours
hour.
from now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a ranked win as of now.
Yeah,
And
I
and
mean,
it's a blowout win. So
Sam Levitt was out in this game, so we kind of were robbed of a really fun matchup. But Utah made it look easy, and Devin Dampier got to the races a couple times. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able. I mean, if Utah can stay in a game script that allows them to run the ball, then they're execute. They're if Utah can stay in a game script that allows them to run the ball, then they're playing how they want to play. Like that's their style of game plan. So it's really tough when you're in a game where they're leading or close, which is tough because you start off in that position every week. So for them and Texas Tech, uh, it does seem like the path is clear. We got Utah on the road against BYU this week, and then after
Holy
that,
war, baby.
kind of a runaway train, huh?
Quick shout out to transfer legend Jeff Sims for still being in college football. Get your bag, I guess, go be a backup quarterback at Arizona State. Way to
literally
get
did
out
not know he
there.
was still playing.
Yeah, dude. He he started this game, completed less than 50% of his passes. Just it's exactly what you want to see from like a sixth year, four-team transfer guy.
Next shout out was Texas beating Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout. I just want to point out because I thought this was really funny. Oklahoma was number 6 going into this game. Texas unranked. Texas was favored in the game going in, which is hilarious. Now we talked about this earlier. I just want to point out John Mateer came back. I don't think any of us expected him to play. I think all of us picked Texas, probably considering that. So he actually did play, and it didn't seem to matter. I think you guys attributed that to his hand. I attributed it to him being bad, playing like shit. Because I don't think his hand affected things.
I was hoping that Oklahoma would just finish the job, and now Texas it has another ranked win. Uh, Even if Oklahoma's a diminished version of themselves right now, and they're banged up from the quarterback position onward, there was still a game to be lost, and Texas did not go about losing it. So kudos to them. Getting that punt return was incredible. You're really helping out your offense. This is their recipe to win games. So I don't know how many times they'll be able to do it, but they can. I don't know, beat A&M or something. It's still on the
Probably.
table. I didn't want to have to think about them anymore. So,
I know. And Oklahoma started the game so hot. They were moving the ball and they managed to only get 6 points on while Texas's offense was genuinely ass. So better team won the game. What can I say? I wanted Oklahoma to win too, so I wouldn't have to talk about Texas. Arch Manning, you also played better. So that's what I'll say.
and last thing, it's really good that the Red River like trophy is that golden hat. It's a really iconic. It's probably one of the best trophies in college sports. And now we have a more iconic photo of Arch Manning than the one where he's standing over a fucking Sam Houston player. So now we can at least look at a game where it was like, wow, that was a big win. Uh, Thank you.
I will
Please.
I,
So
I will never be able to look at that golden cowboy hat without thinking of Charlie Strong that one year that he won it.
listen, silver linings. We don't have to see Sam Houston's player and with Arch Manning in it.
Future
Uh,
accountant.
well, Arch Manning will be a Heisman in the Heisman ceremony at the end of this year.
Oh my God, dude. No,
He won the Red River
no.
Shootout. He's amazing.
He threw 160 yards.
That's incredible.
You're right,
He
that is.
that's only a Manning could do that. Anyway, sorry. God, I'm such a hater. This kid hasn't done anything to me. Next game, Florida, Texas A&M. Texas A&M continues to take care of business, which is something they always struggled to do. It was kind of close. Florida, your defense is still really good. Your offense is still shit. Texas A&M, get your offensive shit in order because you can't be playing teams like Florida late into the game. But hey, a win's a win. Anything? All right, perfect.
No, I have nothing. Boring football game. Move on.
Yeah. Pitt upset Florida State. Uh, it's not really an upset at this point. I feel like Florida State's just really ranked because they're Florida State and they beat Alabama. But hey, I said they'd be a 7-win team. Seems like we're tracking for it. Good for you, Pitt.
Yeah, they made the quarterback switch. I think it was Heinschel, and
hmm
he played really well. Not perfect, but we didn't expect it to be perfect. Pitt has had a real up and down year, I'll say. So getting this win was just had to feel great. For FSU, I couldn't say it any more succinctly than the broadcast team said it. It's like, well, they started hot with their big win over Alabama, but now after their third straight conference loss, we know who they are. So that's yeah, and that's fine. Listen, that's fine. There was a lot of progress this year. There was nowhere to go but up, and you're still there. Good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pitt, you responded to the West Virginia loss, so kudos.
And yeah.
Perfect. Next game, Michigan at USC. USC just blew them out. Michigan, you got to get your offense in order, man.
New Big Ten. You can't. There's no room for this. There's less. A less friendly ecosystem for the crab teams. I'll say. Uh,
Global
it's
warming,
tough.
man.
Yeah.
So I missed this entire game because it happened while I was watching a much worse football game. Um, did was USC just dominating Michigan, or like what? How did this game happen the way it did?
They were moving the ball pretty well, and they had a lead for most of the time. Michigan got one touchdown, and just by the nature of it being 21-7, it was like, oh, kind of a close game. But then, I don't know, USC just ran away with it in the second half. Their defense held up. Um, God, what's the Michigan quarterback's name?
Bryce
Whatever.
Underwood.
Underwood,
Yeah.
yes. I could only think of Dave Portnoy. They kept Portnoy Jr. under pressure the entire time, and like that's really cool that USC's defense, at least their pass rush, was intimidating in a single game against a passing attack that you're not particularly afraid of. But I was worried about explosive plays in this game. Michigan has been feasting on them all season, and USC had theirs, and Michigan couldn't get theirs as easily. So I feel a little smart.
Yeah, I mean USC just has a real quarterback, like it has real quarterback play, real passing game play, and their defense only has to key in on the run, and they did it. So
Jordan Maiava did throw one of the dumbest fucking interceptions I've seen. Like he did the thing where you roll left and then throw back across your body like you're playing I don't even know. Like you can't do that in Madden, you can't do that in college football, you can't do
Cardinal
that
sin,
anywhere. That
Cardinal
is
sin.
NFL blitz stuff. Come on now. That's the one thing you can't do against Michigan is force it and get antsy. You were up by 10 or something. Relax.
Yeah, Cardinal sin. Only three quarterbacks are allowed to do that: Patrick Mahomes, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. That's it.
And
You're not them.
Brock Purdy.
Okay, next game, UMass at Kent State. Kent State gets another win on the season, so we just want to shout them out.
Two wins, baby. Two more. Yeah. A big round of applause for the Golden Flashes wearing their beautiful powder blues with
Those
the
uniforms
flash
were
cursive
awesome.
skirt. Oh my God, dude. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Under Armour, for not looking like Under Armour for a week. And there was it's nice. It's nice. Darius Clark getting some recognition for his special teams play. He had a fake punt that he converted, and he had the opening kickoff ran all the way back. Like this kid is a real star, and it's cool that a star player can be at a MAC school with a cool name, and I hope he stays because he'll be Josh Cribbs down there. Like, come on.
All right, on to the negative
All right.
shout outs.
Hey, before the negative shout outs, hey man, Seattle Kraken 2-0 for the first time in franchise history. It's hockey season now. I don't have to worry about Auburn football anymore. Let's go.
All right. We gotta go into the negative shout outs. I don't know anything about hockey. I know nothing.
Hey,
The Thrashers left and I never recovered. Okay. Negative shout outs. Iowa State lost to Colorado 17-24. Josh, you wanna talk about this? Because I don't know what to say anymore.
I kind of want to let you go first, just so I don't
Sure.
say the same things.
The team has just lost their like spunk basically. That's they're hurt, they're beat down, they hurt themselves, they don't play disciplined, they fuck around. We're calling QB draws on fourth down. Like I just we just don't help ourselves is basically the tagline of the team. They'll probably I think win 7-8 games here. I don't the season's not over, but we had high hopes this year, and it's disappointing that Cincinnati and Colorado basically get you on back-to-back weeks. So that's what all I have to say. Colorado Salters better, good. Caden Salters play pretty well. Colorado got a win that they really needed. And oh, you know what? You know what? Deion Sanders after the game said he knew they would win, and he was praying in church before the game. And I'm like, shut up! Like, stop! You did not fucking know that. What do you mean? That's all. That's all.
Shut
All right.
up. He was in the hospital this week. It was a
Yeah,
hell of a
I
week for
know.
him.
I know. I wish him no ill will. But anyway,
Hey,
yeah.
at least Abu Sama fucking got unleashed a little bit. I mean, in a loss, it doesn't matter, but damn near 200 yards.
We got to
That's
stop running him up
cool.
the middle, though. For all right. Anyway,
That's what sucks so much. Abu had his second best game of his career with 173, and we wasted a masterclass from him. It does feel bad. Like as many excuses as you do have with your fourth string kicker doing kickoffs, like there we had a lineman on the kickoffs because the third string kicker pulled his hamstring and could only do extra points. And even after that touchdown that we scored, we had a senior player fall forward into a guy and then get up onto a defender get in his grill and start jawing at him. And that's a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. And we have a lineman doing that kickoff. So, of course, it gets returned far. And, of course, you're playing the field position game with a team that really wouldn't be able to survive it otherwise. And it's just a soup. It's just a real soup of a season. And, again, you can still, you know what? No, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say you could still go 10-2. I do firmly believe like you're going to be in every game that you have left in your schedule, but you aren't looking like a 10-2 team right now. This was the easier part of your Big 12 schedule, and you dropped like 2 out of 3. So now BYU's coming in, and they are going to be, war torn after this. Like it's a tough couple weeks for them, but I I don't know, man. Like going for it on your own 18 after a bad spot by the referee is making a bad situation worse. You know, having getting inside the 5 and then running up the gut twice after you have had moderate success coming off the tackles all game feels like making a bad situation worse. So when they pick up that pass interference flag in the end zone, of course you're just throwing like a duck up there because like just two things just can't happen good in a row. So I mean, I do feel defeated, but the team could be better off without me complaining. I don't know. It just kind of feels like, this feels so typical.
I just want to note as like a kind of a final thing is just back to back weeks. We defense is on the field. It's third down. If they get the stop, we get the ball back with an opportunity to tie or take the lead. And they just let up a huge play both weeks. I mean, on the most critical third down of the game, we let up what a 40-yard play right down the middle between our two safeties. What do you have to say to that? You know, it's just
It's screwing around in the first half, dude. Like this game didn't have to be so close. And when it was raining and sloppy and whatever in the first half, but you had too many situations where you're in third and long, third and medium to third and long. And then you got guys dropping passes and not extending drives that should be extended. And then you have to figure out how you're actually going to play this opposing offense. And you make your defensive adjustments. And then you can shut people out for most of a quarter, most of a game. But as long as you still need one more play than the other team needs, they only need to get you off balance that one last critical time. And I'm not shocked it happened. Like it's tough. But, that's a lot of words for a team that's lost 2 straight. It's fine. Like we're tapped in, but the rest of the college football world might not have to be.
Feels that way,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I know. That was we just had a massive cope session. That was so funny.
Yeah.
Both of us are just like, oh fucking God. All right, let's move
Yeah.
on to something funnier. Northwestern beat Penn State at Penn State. At Penn State, okay?
Dude, they during the pregame for the Auburn Georgia game, they put Penn State's last drive on the Jumbotron just like, like an hour before the game started or whatever, while people are still filling in. The stadium audibly laughed when they didn't get that fourth down and everyone realized Penn State was gonna lose, dude. I've never seen anything like it. It was funny as hell.
I want to ask, like, okay, before we jump into the whole thing, I want to say, hey, you know what, Northwestern? Good for you. You're
They're
not that
four and
bad.
two. They're
Yeah,
four
you're
and
not bad.
two. What the hell?
Yeah, you're not that bad. So I don't want to like
They
only
beat
talk about Penn State.
UCLA.
That's true. They've beaten Penn State twice, technically. Yeah. Um, Also, I just want to say, as a sad note, Drew Aller, you're hurt. You're out for the season. Your college career's going to be over. So that always sucks.
Yeah.
Especially as a potential NFL draft pick. I thought it was a little ridiculous after the UCLA loss to consider firing James Franklin. I thought it was just a headline. He's just delivered 10 win
It's
season after 10 win season.
and
But
and it's
now,
one anomaly of losing the game that you should win. Now there's two. Now there's a
yeah,
pattern.
now it's a little more real that they could let him go, which would be really sad considering the season he was coming off of. But the season can only get worse.
I
Do we think they'll do it?
I don't think they do it. It's like a $50 million plus buyout. I think that if you're the Penn State athletic director, I think you go to James and you say, "Hey, dude, turn your LinkedIn to open to work and try to find something else. This relationship is not working out very well, but we don't want to pay $50 million to fire you."
Can I say just because I think it would be really funny, and I'm just gonna give this away before we actually pick the game. I think this is the year Penn State beats Ohio State because it would be the funniest year to finally get Ohio State. Would it not? Would it not be just too funny if this was the fucking season they did it?
Sure, yeah, let's do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm just taking that away as a pick. I'm picking Penn State because it would be funny. Anyway, James Franklin. I still think James Franklin's a great coach, but this is probably coming to an end. Maybe not this season, but it's wrapping up. And if I was Auburn, I would try and get James Franklin. If I was Florida, I would try and get James Franklin. If I was pretty much any team looking for a head coach, I would drop a bag on James Franklin. So that's just
Yeah.
all I'll say. Josh, anything before we move on?
Uh, a little while ago, I said, "Oh, this team's losing to Iowa." How do we all feel about that now?
Oh, it's coming up in next week's picks. We'll see. It's coming up. Trust me. I put it in there for that one reason. So, um, other game, just Ohio State just rolled past Illinois. I don't think this Illinois team is that should really be ranked, but their only losses are to Indiana and Ohio State, so you can't really bully them too much. But yeah, Ohio State just takes care of business. I think they're still the number one team in the country.
Yeah, Illinois is good. They're just in a conference where there's a tier above them, and it is pronounced. So
Yeah.
that's no problem, man. Still a good program, still a fun coach, still a
Right.
good quarterback.
I totally agree with the note that you put in our show notes. They're they're good and that's fine. They're not they're not in the elite tier and that's fine. I mean, they're Illinois. They're having a good year. Sucks. You're 5-2. It's hard to beat Ohio State, especially this Ohio State.
Yeah,
No,
there is
they
no shame in being 5-2.
no. I think they need to fire Brett Bielema, blow it up. They're trying to win a championship. Just burn everything down.
Well,
Anyway, yeah. Ohio State's really fucking good. They're the best team in the country. I can't be that upset that you didn't, you know, beat them or something.
Dude, I wonder if Indiana just like randomly deciding to become a lead at college football is gonna like I wonder if it's gonna brain poison like other bad Big Ten teams into thinking that they can do it too.
Oh, dude, them and Vanderbilt, like
Yeah.
both those schools, like being good in the NIL era, like yeah, I totally agree. It kind of sets a weird precedent. Um, on that note, okay, Iowa beats Wisconsin 37-0. Okay, Iowa scored 37 points. That's the biggest takeaway from this game. That's the more. I know we can talk about Wisconsin putting up zero fucking points. With this Wisconsin team, they usually score on the first drive and then score 0 points, but they didn't even do that. So Iowa's only got 2 losses, by the way. They're actually not as bad as everyone thinks they are. And you know what? They played Indiana pretty close. So they're actually not that bad. But Luke Fickell, do we think he's just gonna? This is his last season at Wisconsin, right?
It's gotta be.
Yes.
It's gotta be.
It's and if he gets fired, 2 things. Do we think he gets another head coaching job in a Power Four conference?
He shouldn't.
Not immediately, no.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be the defensive coordinator at Ohio State.
He's either gonna be a coordinator or a like G5 head coach.
Right. Yeah. And then on that note, what do we think of the Wisconsin job? Do we still think it's a top third job in the Big Ten, or is that no longer the case?
I think it is. If I'm talking about like ranking jobs in a conference or program, whatever, I think it takes more than one bad hire to knock you down a peg or two. Now, granted, it is a different era where you can go into a team year one and immediately win. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be nice to the Badgers in a year where they need people being nice to them. You're still a top third job, dude, for sure.
I don't know. I feel like when it's hard to change a program, and even when you get rid of a coach, you have to like change the mindset of the boosters, change the mindset of the fan base, change the mindset of the athletic department. Like, I feel like they already had one coach come in and say, we're going to do things a lot differently. And they're going to have to need another person come in and say, we're going to do things a lot differently. And there's going to need to be a level of buy in that I don't know if you can glean from everybody now. So it's we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I don't know. I could see it being like really tough. Like, and I don't think see them attracting somebody like whatever, like Nick Saban, that's going to say like, "Hey, if I'm coming here, I'm doing it my way. You're going to do this, this, and this is how we're going to be winners." Okay. I don't know if they're going to be able to attract somebody that can like have that type of power to say this is how it's going to be done.
Yeah, I don't know I don't think their NIL game is very good. And then now Oregon is in the conference. I mean, I know Washington's not having the best year, but Washington's in the conference. USC's in the conference. It's gonna get harder. It's gonna get a lot harder. I just think like you're like better Iowa, right? Like in terms of if I had to rank you as a job, you should be the better version of Iowa. So you can be better, but you're gonna have to get a program builder and not necessarily a splashy hire, which is what they just tried to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna retract my top third comment because doing the math, there are 18 teams in the Big Ten, so that
God
means you have to
damn.
be one of the six best, which, like you said, rattle them off: Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, Oregon, uh, probably USC.
Nebraska,
The
as a job,
yeah,
as a resource
yeah,
situation, I'd have to say Nebraska. But I mean, yeah, they have
yeah,
sucked for a while, I
yeah.
guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's fine. We don't have to get to it, but yeah, they're not a top third job, however you rank it.
Yeah,
Indiana, like now.
Penn State, I totally forgot about.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. Just notable. Luke Fickell, defensive coordinator coming soon. Um,
Offensive, probably.
yes. Next week's games. Got a pretty solid slate, so we'll pick these. Tennessee at Alabama at 7:30 p.m. What are we thinking, John?
I think Alabama's gonna roll, and I hate it, but
Josh?
I think Alabama, I think if they can stick to playing football and not basketball on fourth down, then they'll be fine.
I'll go Alabama as well. Tennessee just had a bad game against Arkansas, but Bama looks like the best team in the
it
SEC in my
it's it
opinion.
my pick is a lot more about Alabama than Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also don't
Utah,
think Tennessee's that good. I think they're like ranked highly, but I don't know if they're that great.
yeah,
But, what
I
does
have
that
them
mean,
pretty
honestly? So,
right. Anyway, next game was Utah at BYU at the 8 p.m. slot. What do we think about this, Josh?
oof. I'll go with Utah. I think BYU almost dropped this game last year. I think it'll be a close game, but I don't think BYU's pulling away in this one. And because of that, I think Utah can play keep away and grind this one out on the road. Yeah. But I'm very excited to see how it turns out.
I will take BYU and their quarterback who wears a very stupid number.
I'll also go with BYU. I kind of just, I've lost faith in the Utah program as being like whenever they come into a big game and we're like, they're the class of the Big 12, they're the class of the Pac-12, they're gonna grind you down and win. I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith in them, so I'm gonna go with BYU. I think that's an ascending program that does things right. Next game, Texas Tech at Arizona State at the 4 p.m. slot. I think Texas Tech's the best team in the Big 12, so I'm gonna go with Texas Tech, and I'm not gonna overthink it. John?
Same exact thing for me, Texas Tech.
I think if Sam Levitt is there, this will be a game for one half. Which half that is will determine the game.
Yeah, well put. Next game was Ole Miss at Georgia at the 3:30 slot. Um, John, you wanna go here?
I'm out of spite, not going to pick Georgia. Let's go Ole Miss.
Josh?
I think Ole Miss. Uh, well, yeah, yeah, I'll go Ole Miss. They had their clunker game already, so they're going to be going into this week focused. Is what
Yeah,
I'll tell myself.
I think they had their clunker game because of this game, frankly. Um, Probably looking ahead. They've got a dynamic quarterback. Georgia doesn't play a full 4 quarters. I'll go with Georgia because we're at home. If we were at Ole Miss, I think we'd lose. But we've got them at home, so I think we'll find a way to win. Next game, LSU at Vanderbilt at the noon slot. Boys, I'm picking Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's a better football team, and they're at home. John?
Vandy, dude. I want to see Brian Kelly turn shades of purple that we have not seen in like 10 years in this game.
Josh?
Oh boy. At times like this, I'm reminded how good this sport is. I think Vandy pulls it off, and LSU we get some fun media coverage out of this game.
Yeah, the Feinbaum show is gonna be popping off, man. Next game, Penn State at Iowa at the 7 p.m. slot.
You already know who I pick.
Yeah, Josh goes Iowa because Mark Gronowski is the X factor to him.
A dude who has thrown 3 touchdowns and 3 picks all year is the X factor.
That's right.
Fuck it.
John?
X factor, dude. Iowa.
Okay, I'm gonna say I think Penn State's go with. I know they're having a bad year, but they don't have Drew Aller, but I'll go Penn State. I refuse to believe that a team that is this incompetent offensively can. I'll go Penn State. I'll go Penn State.
No, dude, they're not incompetent offensively. They hit the over on the point total in the Wisconsin game by themselves. I'm telling you, dude. This is gonna be a gross game, but
Ew.
this is
This
gonna
game's
be
on
a
Peacock. Actually, that kind of fits, but I guess I'm not going to
yes.
watch this game.
I'm telling you, people have been talking about this game around here for a long time. It doesn't matter if Penn State's bad right now. This is still a big deal for Iowa fans. So, I mean, I don't think they're gonna rush the field, but that's the only thing that's changed. Like, this is so important. And having Penn State have a losing record this late in the year would be very funny, even though it's already has been very funny. I'm going with them. I don't even feel bad. I don't even feel bad rooting for the Hawkeyes this hard. It's funny.
All right, next game, USC at Notre Dame, 6:30 slot. What are we thinking? John?
Uh, I I want to take SC. Little upset action. I Southern Cal, fucking Maiyava is going to go in there and they're going to take it to Notre Dame, dude.
Josh?
I don't know. I think USC handled the run really well this week, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it again. Uh, just because they're on the road, I'll take Notre Dame. That Illinois game USC lost is informing my opinion as well. They played a good game there, pretty much same distance at a worse, more inconvenient time for them to play even. But I think Notre Dame pulls it off at home and somehow, some way creeps back into the playoff picture.
I'll go with Notre Dame because they're at home. I think that just makes the difference. Notre Dame has got great running backs. I think they can take care of this. They've got a more competent offense than I think Michigan did. They're at home. I'll go Notre Dame, and it's a huge rivalry game. There are going to be a lot of fans in the stands for this one. Next game, Louisville at Miami at the 7 p.m. slot. Josh, what'd you think of this?
Miami, Louisville is a banter club. That's all.
John?
It's all about the U, baby. I've got a hot swap to a different ACC team than the one I thought was going to win the conference at the beginning of the year. It's Miami, baby. The Canes are going undefeated, baby. Let's go.
Uh, yeah, I think Miami's gonna drop one this season. I don't think Louisville's the team that's gonna beat them, so I'll go Miami, especially at home. This will be a good test of how buttoned up they are if they blow this team out. Next game, Nebraska at Minnesota at the 8 p.m. slot. Josh, what do you think of this one?
Nebraska nearly blew it against Maryland, and I don't know if they can keep doing that. So I'll pick Minnesota, and it's not because Minnesota is that good. I just think Nebraska's due to not get away with what they pulled off this time.
John?
Nebraska.
All right. I'll go Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, it has nothing. I'm sorry, Minnesota fans, but it has nothing to do with your team at all. I genuinely am just like, Nebraska's too stupid of a team to win a game like
Dude,
this.
they have such a good quarterback. We love him. We love the way he plays.
Yeah, we love his general attitude and swagger. Is how I describe it.
Dude, Minnesota's quarterback is so bad, dude. He's young, but he's just like terrible to watch. And I feel like I feel like they'll win anyway in an absolutely disgusting game. So we will not be watching, but I will laugh at the final score, is what I think will happen.
Yeah, I'm not to be like a dick, but like you could have literally told me anything about Minnesota's team, and I've been like, I get like they could be running the triple option. I would have no idea. I have no clue what's
God
going.
damn.
Put some respect on PJ Fleck's name, man.
I can't. I can't. I tried and I can't.
We all tried. I honestly assume he was already fired at this point, but yeah, he's not that bad, I guess. Anyway, whatever. That's the
This
episode,
is great.
folks.
I should put this clip on TikTok so that we can talk shit about Minnesota and then 2 out of 3 of us can pick them to win. This is great.
Yeah.
Just nobody's happy.
All right. Well, that's the episode. I'll see everyone next week. Thanks for listening.